Chapter 579. Hearing his words, Luo Qingtong found it funny. "Are you threatening me?" She raised her Rakshasa mask and stared coldly at Emperor Chanyu with her crimson eyes. Luo Qingtong's lips curled up. "You can try and see if you can say anything about me." If she didn't want anyone to say anything, no one would be able to. Emperor Chanyu really didn't know the meaning of death by threatening her. No, they were already acting recklessly when they attacked her and the Luo clan. Luo Qingtong coldly looked at Emperor Chanyu. The latter was shocked when he heard her words. "You." Luo Qingtong. He wanted to call out Luo Qingtong's name, but he found that no matter how he opened his mouth, he could not say anything related to Luo Qingtong. Even the words Luo clan and the engagement were taboo. How was this possible? Emperor of Tianyu's eyes widened. He tried again and again in disbelief. After confirming that this was indeed the case, his expression changed. His legs went soft and he almost fell to his knees. Emperor Chanyu shook off the eunuch who came to support him and looked down at Luo Qingtong with horror. "You. What did you do to me?" "Not to him but to everyone here." Luo Qingtong looked coldly at Emperor Chanyu who was panicking above the imperial city. Since she was here, how could she give the Chanyu imperial family a chance to reveal her identity? Emperor Chanyu really underestimated her evil Dr. Ghost eyes. "Do it." Too lazy to talk nonsense with him, Luo Qingtong directly raised her right hand. His eyes were filled with bloodthirsty killing intent as he looked at the huge and majestic imperial city. It made his pair of demonic blood-red eyes look incomparably beautiful. It was as if countless bloody colors were leaking out from that pair of eyes. The killing intent was awe-inspiring, cold, and resolute. "Kill? Everyone from the Chanyu imperial family, kill." "Oh, pardon." Following Luo Qingtong's words, which were full of killing intent, the Luo clan's Iron Army and the Evil Valley's people behind her instantly moved. Old Duke Ling also gave the order to attack at this moment. However, looking at the slightly weaker strength of the Luo clan's Iron Army, his expression was a little strange. The strength of these people seemed to be a little weak. How could the people around His Excellency Evil Dr. Ghost I be so powerful? He hesitated, wondering if he should suggest to Luo Qingtong that the Luo family's Iron Army should not make a move, lest they be lost here for no reason. After all, their strength was far from the strength of the elites of the top aristocratic families of the empire. However, the moment old Duke Ling thought that, he was immediately slapped in the face. Bang bang bang. The Luo clan's Iron Army, holding the spiritual chi spears given by Luo Qingtong, were even more powerful than the elites of the Ling clan's Iron Army. Old Duke Ling stared at the strange weapons in the hands of the Luo clan's Iron Army, dumbfounded. They only needed a little strength to drive the weapons to turn the spiritual chi in the air into attacks, which was far beyond their own strength. What kind of weapons were these? Why had he never seen them before? Could it be that His Excellency Evil Dr. Ghost I was not only an alchemist with amazing medical skills, but also a blacksmith? As old Duke Ling was thinking, his hand that was stroking his beard couldn't help but pull out a handful of his beard. It was so painful that he almost cried. Chapter 580. A huge defensive array suddenly appeared above Tianyu Royal City, blocking all the attacks from the Luo and Ling armies. Buzz. Ripples spread out from the huge defensive array. The attacks of the Luo clan's Iron Army and the Ling clan's army were all absorbed by the defensive array. In the next second, a series of attacks suddenly shot out from the array formation. It was a similar array to the one Luo Qingtong had set up in the Luo family. It could absorb and reflect attacks. This was the array that the Tianyu royal family had set up over 1,000 years. It was the most important defense of Tianyu Royal City and also its last line of defense. It would not be activated unless it was a matter of life and death. Rumble. The array spun rapidly. Wave after wave of attacks instantly rushed towards the Ling army and the Luo family's Iron Army. At the same time, a few figures with powerful auras appeared beside the Emperor of Tianyu on the city walls. Humph. Evil physician Gui Tong. What an arrogant tone. You want to destroy the Tianyu royal family. These figures were the martial emperors of the Tianyu royal family. They still had injuries on their bodies, but their martial emperor's auras were enough to intimidate everyone. If you reveal your true identity as the evil physician Ghost Eye and ask for help from the Dark Domain or a group of celestial dynasties, we might be a little afraid of you. But you want to destroy the Tianyu royal family with just these people from the Ling family? What a joke. One of the martial emperors looked arrogant as he looked at Luo Qingtong with greed and malice. Luo Qingtong was too arrogant. She did not reveal her identity and came to the various forces to help. She probably did not want those forces to find out her whereabouts. She was stupid. Did she think that she could destroy the Tianyu royal family with just these people? Even if she asked the Wan Yu family to help, they were blocking the Tianyu royal family's army outside the city. Before they arrived, they could capture Luo Qingtong. They would not dare to act rashly. Ah, Luo Qingtong, you're the one who brought it to me. The martial emperor-level powerhouse laughed heartily. In the next second, his figure flashed and he appeared beside Luo Qingtong. To catch bandits, first catch the ringleader. His expression was cold and stern. His 5 fingers were like hooks as he instantly grabbed at Luo Qingtong's throat. After I capture you, let's see who else dares to go against our Tianyu royal family. This martial emperor-grade powerhouse had just entered the martial emperor realm. As he moved, an awe-inspiring aura shot towards Luo Qingtong to bind her. The space around the latter began to condense. This was the power of a martial emperor in the union of heaven and man realm. Not only were they able to launch their own attacks, but they were also able to use their own attacks to manipulate the surrounding spirit chi to restrict their opponent's movements. This was the so-called unity of man and nature. However, this martial emperor had been injured before and had not fully recovered yet. His attacks were much weaker than those of ordinary martial emperors who had just entered the martial emperor realm. The spirit chi surrounding Luo Qingtong was also not enough to restrict her movements. Seeing this martial emperor realm powerhouse attacking her, Luo Qingtong narrowed her eyes. Chapter 581. Swish. Luo Qingtong raised her hand and waved. Heaven-conquering skill. Seize heaven's fortune. Following Luo Qingtong's shout, a beam of sword light suddenly flew out from the life and death right sword in her hand. It flew towards the martial emperor expert who suddenly opened his eyes wide. Bang! Under Luo Qingtong's pupil technique, the beam of sword light broke through the lingering spiritual chi of heaven and earth around the martial emperor expert as easily as crushing dry weeds and smashing rotten wood. It broke through his defense and slashed into his body through the wound caused by Yi Qianxian. You! The martial emperor expert's eyes were filled with horror. Luo Qingtong's attack was too accurate. It directly hit his previous wound. More importantly, she was only at the intermediate martial king realm. However, with the help of that sword move, she was able to exert the strength of a martial emperor. Martial king realm. How old was Luo Qingtong? Furthermore, the sword move that she displayed was actually able to raise her attack power to such an extent. Just what level of martial skill was it? Sage realm? Or even higher? She was only at the martial king realm, but she was able to use a sword move of the sage realm. How monstrous was Luo Qingtong? What kind of treasure did the royal family of Tianyu miss out on? Such a person should have been the daughter-in-law of the royal family of Tianyu. The newly advanced martial emperor widened his eyes and breathed his last with a remaining grievance. Plop. His body fell heavily to the ground. Third brother? Seeing the martial emperor expert die, the martial emperors on the city wall instantly changed their expressions. They looked at Luo Qingtong as if they were looking at a monster. An intermediate martial king realm expert killed a martial emperor expert. Even if third brother was injured, it was not the reason why Luo Qingtong could kill him. Monstrous. Too monstrous. They knew Luo Qingtong's identity very well. Others were shocked and in awe of the evil Dr. Ghost Eye's strength, but they were indescribably cold. Luo Qingtong was only 15 years old this year, right? The talent and strength she displayed had far surpassed the top geniuses of the sacred dynasties. Even the royal families of the 4 sacred dynasties could not cultivate a genius like Luo Qingtong. The talent and potential that Yu Wenma had displayed was nothing in front of Luo Qingtong. Not to mention that she was an alchemist with amazing medical skills. She was highly sought after. Such a Luo Qingtong was definitely a disaster to the royal family of Tianyu. She had to be eradicated at all costs. Previously, these people still wanted to imprison and control Luo Qingtong because of her identity as the evil Dr. Ghost Eye. But now, after witnessing her terrifying talent and strength, they no longer had such thoughts. Chapter 582. Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. They were extremely fast. At this point in time, these martial emperors could no longer care about their own dignity. They couldn't care less about how shameless it was for a group of martial emperors to attack a junior like Luo Qingtong. In their opinion, Luo Qingtong's talent and ability were too demonic. No matter what price they had to pay, they had to keep such a demonic talent here. What was dignity? For the future of the Tianyu imperial family and their lives, it was not worth mentioning. Boss. Seeing the group of martial emperors attacking Luo Qingtong, little overlord Yuan and the others were shocked. The Luo family Iron Army and the people from Evil Valley were also shocked. Eldest Miss. Master. These people from the Chanyu imperial family were too shameless. No one expected that they would join forces to attack Luo Qingtong. A group of martial emperors attacking a junior of the intermediate martial king realm? How shameless were they? Grandpa. Ling Yu stomped her feet and called Duke Ling. Duke Ling's mansion also had martial emperors, but they did not have as many martial emperors as the Chanyu imperial family. However, before they could do anything, the Chanyu imperial family attacked Luo Qingtong. Seeing the group of martial emperors rushing towards her, Luo Qingtong narrowed her eyes. The blood-red light in his eyes was extremely intense. Luo Qingtong could dodge the attack of the nine-blade assassin, so it was impossible for the group of martial emperors to surround Luo Qingtong. Just as she was about to rush out of the gap in the encirclement of the group of people. Bang, bang, bang. The few martial grand emperors who were rushing towards Luo Qingtong suddenly seemed to have been attacked. One by one they spat out blood and flew out. Boom. The group of people crashed heavily on the protective array above the Chanyu imperial city. The light on the defensive array trembled violently, and ripples spread across its surface. Suddenly, in the next second, the defensive formation exploded. Bang bang bang. A huge force exploded in all directions. In an instant, screams of agony could be heard in Sky Universe Royal City. Those from Chanyu's imperial family all fell to the ground screaming. In the blink of an eye, the group of elite Tiger Guard and Chanyu imperial family members surrounding the imperial city decreased by a whole circle. Emperor Chanyu was also thrown to the ground by the shockwaves. The berserk power exploded and pierced through his body. However, such intense pain didn't elicit any reaction from Emperor Chanyu. He just raised his head and looked at the group of people who suddenly appeared beside Luo Qingtong in shock. How dare you? Do you think you can humiliate the matriarch of Blackfield? Bei Qing and Feng Yu floated beside Luo Qingtong as they stared coldly in the direction of Chanyu Royal City. Mistress of the Blackfield. Emperor Chanyu almost couldn't breathe after hearing this and almost fainted on the spot. Luo Qingtong was the matriarch of the Blackfield. Didn't that mean that Ming Zun of the Blackfield? That Ming Zun was together with Luo Qingtong? Emperor Chanyu's body twitched violently as he looked in Luo Qingtong's direction with shock and despair. Who would have thought that this would be the outcome? If they had offended Luo Qingtong and evil Dr. Ghost Eye, they might have had a slim chance of survival. Chapter 583. It's over. It's over. Emperor Chanyu couldn't take it anymore. With a bang he fell down from the city wall, smashing his head against the wall. His head was bleeding and he was no longer breathing. Luo Qingtong didn't have time to pay attention to Bei Qing and Feng Yu's words. Her eyes were fixed on Chanyu Imperial City, which had lost its protection. Her eyes were bloodshot and filled with killing intent, making her look like an Azura from hell. Kill? She waved her hand and pointed her sword at Chanyu Imperial City. Leave no one alive from Chanyu's imperial family. If you don't remove the roots, they'll grow again. Chanyu's imperial family had persecuted her and the Luo clan time and time again. First they wanted to control her, then they wanted to kill her. A death grudge had already been formed. In this strange world where one could sacrifice everything for one's family, Luo Qingtong wouldn't leave any trouble for herself and the Luo clan. To be merciful to the enemy is to be cruel to oneself. If she hadn't seen through Chanyu's imperial family's scheme, the Luo clan would be dead now. Dragons have reverse scales, phoenixes have feathers. Touch and you'll die. The Luo clan and Old Master Luo were her only source of warmth in this strange world. Whoever touched them would die. Yes. Following Luo Qingtong's order, the entire Luo clan's army and Evil Valley's army moved. Seeing Luo Qingtong being surrounded by the martial emperors of Chanyu's imperial family, everyone's hearts were in their throats. Now that he saw that she was fine, his anger and murderous intent instantly ignited. How dare they lay their hands on the young miss? These Chanyu's imperial family members deserved to die. Duke Ling's men were also frightened by Luo Qingtong's dangerous situation. Hearing the order, they also rushed towards Chanyu Imperial City. Especially those martial emperors of Duke Ling's mansion who didn't have time to act. They were filled with killing intent. If anything happened to evil Dr. Gui Tong in front of them, they wouldn't be able to bear the wrath of the Black Field. But, at the same time, the group of people was also very puzzled. Evil Dr. Gui Tong was actually the matriarch of the Black Field. Isn't Sir Evil Physician a man? Everyone stole glances at Luo Qingtong's slender figure. That devilish figure, that peerlessly domineering aura, and that wanton demonic temperament. No matter how he looked at it, it didn't look like a woman. So, that supreme black field was actually a homosexual? The group was horrified by their own imaginations. But soon they felt relieved. If it was the evil Dr. Ghost Eye, then it was normal for the supreme of the black field to be a homosexual. Because the other party was too monstrous, too dazzling. Rumble. As the group of people charged into Sky Universe Royal City, cries of agony could be heard everywhere. The people of Sky Universe Royal City resisted stubbornly. There were even people who cursed Luo Qingtong loudly. Luo Qingtong didn't pay any attention to them. She just coldly swept forward. Empress Tianyu's palace. Because they were in the inner court of the royal palace, the people here didn't know that Sky Universe Royal City had already been breached. At this moment, Empress Tianyu was talking to Yu Wenxue in her palace. Mother, is everything okay outside? Duke Ling's men won't attack, right? Yu Wenxue asked worriedly. What do you think our Tianyu's imperial family is? Their Duke Ling's men want to replace our Tianyu's imperial family? Dream on. Empress Tianyu's face was filled with mockery. Chapter 584. Humph. At this time, the Mang Tiger Guard should have already flattened the Luo family, right? Slowly picking up a fresh flower that a maid just picked from outside, the Empress of Tianyu's face is gloomy and cold. With a snap, she broke the flower branch and crumpled the blossoming flower into a ball. I really can't wait to see Luo Qingtong's face when she finds out that the Luo family has been destroyed and is in so much pain that she wants to die. When that old fart from the Luo family is captured, this Empress will definitely properly entertain him. I will let him enjoy all the torture in this world and then have Luo Qingtong personally witness it. Only then will I be able to dispel the hatred in my heart. This Empress will torture her bit by bit, let her live a life worse than death, to pay tribute to my Fei family's spirit in heaven. The Empress of Tianyu's voice is sharp. Right. Yu Wenxue is also filled with jealousy. We must properly torture her. Mother Empress, scratch her face first. Then cripple her strength and let her live like a dog. Yu Wenxue never thought that Luo Qingtong would actually be the evil Dr. Ghost Eye. When she came back from the Tianyu Branch Academy and heard this news, she didn't dare to believe it. Evil Dr. Ghost Eye. Thinking of the Kaiyuan secret realm, it was the other party who saved them. That monstrous talent and ability. Then thinking of how Luo Qingtong fought against Yi Qingqing's group and injured their entire team, Yu Wenshue's heart is filled with jealousy. How can Luo Qingtong be the evil Dr. Ghost Eye? How can she be the evil Dr. Ghost Eye? That person that she can't even look up to? Luo Qingtong is only fit to be a dog at her feet. She can humiliate, beat and scold her as she pleases. How can she become so dazzling? Yu Wenxue can't accept it. But now, Imperial Father and Imperial Mother want to deal with her. In the end, Luo Qingtong can only be humiliated as she pleases. Thinking that she can trample the evil Dr. Ghost Eye under her feet, Yu Wenshue's heart is filled with joy. But this joy doesn't last for long. It seems that the Empress and the 7th Princess miss me very much. Luo Qingtong kicked open the door of the bedroom with a bang. She'd overheard the conversation between the Tianyu Empress and Yu Wenxue. Luo Fu, why are you here? Seeing Luo Qingtong's disguise, Empress of Tianyu wanted to call out Luo Qingtong's name. However, she couldn't open her mouth. She looked at Luo Qingtong in shock, but the latter just looked at her with a cold smile. Of course I'm here to send you guys off and get something. However, I've changed my mind. The Empress of Tianyu and Yu Wenxue had already planned out their future, so how could Luo Qingtong not help them? Luo Qingtong strode in front of Tianyu Empress and broke her hand without waiting for her to speak. Amidst the Empress's screams, Luo Qingtong pressed down on her broken hand and stamped a letter she'd prepared. Luo, what are you doing? The Empress of Tianyu's forehead is dripping with sweat, her face contorted in pain. Luo Qingtong put away the letter. Of course it's the annulment. How could Luo Qingtong let Tianyu's imperial family take over her engagement? With this annulment, Yu Wenma can't do anything even if he doesn't want to. She'll also take back the Luo family's token of marriage from Yu Wenma. Chapter 585. Whoosh. Luo Qingtong strode away. Just as Tianyu Empress and Yu Wenxue heaved a sigh of relief, thinking they'd escaped death, Luo Qingtong's voice came from outside. I'll leave the two of them to you. Did you hear what they said just now? Just do as they say. Don't miss a single word. Don't let them die too easily. Luo Qingtong's voice was cold. Yes. Tianyu Empress and Yu Wenxue were horrified, not knowing who Luo Qingtong was talking to. At this moment, Bei Qing and Feng Yu's group appeared. They'd been following Luo Qingtong and protecting her in the dark. Naturally, they'd heard everything and looked at the Tianyu Empress and Yu Wenxue with dangerous gazes. These two vicious women were truly vicious. However, they probably didn't expect that all of these vicious punishments would fall on them in the end. Blackfield's people? Tianyu Empress and Yu Wenxue almost fainted when they saw the Blackfield uniforms on Bei Qing and Feng Yu's group. How could this be? Why were there Blackfield's people by Luo Qingtong's side? Didn't they say that Blackfield's people were looking for evil Dr. Ghost Eye everywhere but to no avail? Otherwise, Tianyu's imperial family wouldn't have gotten the portrait of Luo Qingtong and learned that Luo Qingtong was evil Dr. Ghost Eye. But now, why were Blackfield's people by Luo Qingtong's side? Tianyu Empress was so shocked that she almost fainted. Yu Wenxue, on the other hand, was terrified. "No, you can't do this to us. I'm the 7th princess of Tianyu's imperial family. My mother is the Empress of Tianyu Empire. My brother is Yu Wenma, a disciple of the Saint Academy of the Empire of Qin. A sky-grade student. A peerless genius. You can't do this to me," she screamed crazily. "Our Tianyu imperial family also has connections in the Empire of Qin. And that one." As she spoke, she seemed to have grasped at a life-saving straw and desperately shouted, "The noble daughter of the great Yong dynasty's imperial family. Luo, if you dare to touch us, she will definitely not let you off. She admires my brother and wants to be with him. Luo, if it weren't for you holding on to the marriage agreement with my brother, he would have already been together with that noble lady. Who do you think you are? What evil Dr. Ghost Eye? They're nothing in front of her. It's you? You're the one who ruined our Tianyu royal family's advancement. If it wasn't for that, I would already be a princess of the great Yong dynasty. Tianyu's royal family's strength will also rise. Why don't you go and die? Why don't you just die?" Yu Wenxue had completely lost her mind and crazily shouted, pushing all the blame onto Luo Qingtong. However, she completely forgot that from the beginning to the end, it was Yu Wenma who didn't agree to break off the engagement. It had nothing to do with Luo Qingtong and the Luo family. Shua. Hearing Yu Wenshue's shouting, Luo Qingtong, who had already walked far away, suddenly appeared in front of her. Looking at the crazed Yu Wenxue in front of her, Luo Qingtong narrowed her eyes and suddenly lifted her up by the neck. "Who is it?" Her voice was cold. "That noble daughter of the great Yong dynasty, who is she?" Luo Qingtong had always been looking for the person hiding in the great Yong dynasty who had secretly harmed the original owner's eyes. She didn't expect Yu Wenxue to know. Chapter 586. She had thought that it was the other party who had approached Luo Xining alone. Now it seemed that the royal family of Tianyu knew about it as well. The other party had attacked the original owner of the body because of UNMO? Was it a coincidence that the poison had blinded the original owner of the body, or had the other party done it on purpose? Was UNMO the reason for the other party to attack the original owner of the body, or was it true? Luo Qingtong felt that this matter was getting more and more interesting. "Tell me everything you know." Luo Qingtong's voice was cold. She had already ordered Bei Qing, Feng Yu and the others. "Can you form a boundary to block the connection between this space and the outside world? Can you prevent others from sensing what is happening here from thousands of miles away?" With the experience of being silenced once, Luo Qingtong directly eliminated this possibility this time. She believed that with Bei Qing and Feng Yu's strength, they would definitely be able to do this. The people around that man were not ordinary people. "Sure. You can ask me anything you want." As soon as Luo Qingtong said that, Bei Qing, Feng Yu reacted immediately. Feng Yu nodded. Bei Qing and the others had already released their auras and isolated the space around Luo Qingtong. Under their auras, no one could detect what was happening in the space unless they were above the Saint Realm. Even if there was a boundary, it could not be touched. Looking at their actions, Luo Qingtong threw Yu Wenxue on the ground. She pulled a chair and sat in front of her. She said coldly, "Speak. Who is she?" "Luo Qingtong, are you scared?" Yu Wenxue did not notice what Luo Qingtong said to Bei Qing and Feng Yu. She did not know that Bei Qing and Feng Yu were the bodyguards of Ming Zun in the Black Field. At this moment, she looked at Luo Qingtong and laughed maniacally. "That is Princess Feng Yuan of the Great Yong Dynasty. The first princess of the Great Yong Dynasty, the first noble lady, and the first genius." Princess Feng Yuan reached the Martial King realm at the age of 16. Now she has surpassed the Martial Emperor realm and entered the Martial Spirit realm. I heard that she will soon reach the martial grandmaster realm. At that time, she will be only one step away from the saint realm. She is ranked first in the young phoenix list of the 4 sacred academies. Luo Qingtong, the difference between you and her is like heaven and earth. That evil Dr. Ghost Eye of yours can only scare others. You are nothing in front of her. Yu Wenxue became more and more. If Luo Qingtong hadn't taken over the engagement with her royal brother and made him insist on not breaking off the engagement, Princess Fengyuan might have been together with her royal brother long ago. Princess Fengyuan was a proud daughter of the heavens. How could she be involved with a man who was already engaged? It was all Luo Qingtong's fault. Yu Wenshua's heart was filled with resentment. She did not care about her current situation. She looked at Luo Qingtong with eyes that were filled with poison. Luo Qingtong did not bother to pay attention to her. Yu Wenxue was arrogant and did not know much about the outside world. She was like a frog at the bottom of a well. In her opinion, Luo Qingtong's evil Dr. Ghost Eye's identity could only be flaunted outside of the 4 sacred dynasties. She did not know that Luo Qingtong's identity was something that even the major powers of the 4 sacred dynasties wanted to investigate. The 4 sacred dynasties did not lack alchemists. But for someone like Luo Qingtong who could refine elixirs at such a young age that were comparable to those reclusive elders, there was no one else. As for cultivation, Luo Qingtong was already a mid-level martial king at the age of 15. Chapter 587. The Blackfield people looked at Yu Wenxue as if they were looking at an idiot. They wondered where she had come from when she said that Luo Qingtong and Princess Fengyuan were as different as clouds and mud. Did she really think that just anyone was worthy of the Blackfield's protection? Even if their lord didn't fall in love with the evil doctor, the latter couldn't be humiliated. Luo Qingtong deserved the Blackfield's careful treatment. If that Princess Fengyuan wanted to trample the evil doctor to the bottom of the mud, she was probably not qualified. Alright, I'm done asking. You can deal with the rest. Luo Qingtong couldn't be bothered to look at Yu Wenxue. She got up and left. Seeing her leaving figure, Yu Wenxue struggled to stand up and shouted at Luo Qingtong. Luo Qingtong, didn't you hear what I said? Princess Fengyuan is so powerful and has fallen in love with my royal brother. If she knew what you did to us, she wouldn't let you and the Luo family off. Stop. Stop right there. Come back. She hysterically shouted at Luo Qingtong's leaving figure. Her expression was crazed to the extreme. Yu Wenxue was very scared. She knew in her heart how vicious the punishment she had just mentioned to Luo Qingtong was. She didn't want to end up in that situation. Luo Qingtong must be scared. She was just holding on. She would soon turn around and let go of her. However, no matter how she shouted, Luo Qingtong didn't turn around. She just left. From the looks of it, he didn't take her words seriously at all. Yu Wenshue's expression stiffened. At this moment, a Blackfield person spoke. I really don't know where your confidence comes from. Her Excellency the Evil Doctor is someone our Lord loves. Her strength has already reached the mid-level Martial King realm. Within a year he went from the Martial Master realm to the Martial King realm. No one can compare to him. That Princess Fengyuan is the #1 genius of the Great Yong Dynasty, #1 on the Young Phoenix list of the 4 Great Sacred Academies? Don't worry, it won't be for long. It was more than enough for the evil doctor to enter the Sacred Academy of the Empire of Qin. At that time, it would be hard to say who would be the real #1 on the Young Phoenix leaderboard. Hearing the Blackfield member's words, Yu Wenshue's face was completely lifeless. She stared blankly at the man from the Blackfield, his words echoing in her mind. Luo Qingtong was the girl that their lord had fallen in love with. She was a mid-level martial king. How old was Luo Qingtong? 15 years old? Yu Wenshue's voice trembled as she laughed. His laughter sounded like he was crying, and his expression was unbelievably twisted. Lord of the Blackfield? Isn't that the Blackfield underworld venerable? No matter how ignorant Yu Wenxue was, it was impossible for her not to have heard of his name. Luo Qingtong was actually the girl that the Blackfield underworld venerable had fallen in love with. How could this be? How could this be? However, Yu Wenxue had no choice but to believe the Blackfield member's words. She thought about how she had used her status as Princess Fengyuan to pressure Luo Qingtong. How could her status be compared to the Blackfield underworld venerable? They weren't even on the same level. The difference between the clouds and mud. Who was the clouds and who was the mud? At this time, the fainted Empress of Tianyu slowly regained consciousness. Her body began to tremble violently when she heard the words of the man from the dark domain. In the next second, her eyes rolled back, white foam came out of her mouth and she fainted again. Before she lost consciousness, her heart was filled with regret. Chapter 588. The Blackfields Ming Zun. With the Blackfields Ming Zun, she and Yu Wenxue couldn't die even if they wanted to. They could only taste the vicious punishment she had just uttered. That was definitely something more terrifying than death. Just as the Tianyu Empress fainted, Luo Qingtong had already flown out of the Tianyu Imperial Palace and returned to the Luo family on the spirit ship. She didn't need to worry about the Tianyu Empire anymore. The Ling family wanted to replace the Tianyu Imperial family so they would take care of everything. Otherwise, why would she ask them to come? When they returned to the Luo family, the sky was already dark. After eating something, Luo Qingtong used the Ming Zunai technique to draw what she saw after turning back time. She handed it to the Blackfields people and asked them to investigate. She turned around and went back to her room. Without even turning on the light, she lay down on the bed and fell into a deep sleep. She was too tired. The battle in the Kaiyuan secret realm and the drawing of the inscription of space were extremely exhausting. After coming out of the Kaiyuan secret realm, she received the news and hurried back to the Luo family. She didn't even rest. After this round of battle, his entire body's essence, energy and spirit were almost exhausted. After returning home and finishing her business, she directly lay down. When she was lying on the bed, Luo Qingtong was still thinking in a daze, as if she had forgotten something. But she was so tired that her brain couldn't work at all. She fell asleep just like that. In the dimly lit room, Yi Chenxian lay on Luo Qingtong's bed, his whole body stiff. Beside him was the girl's warm and soft body. It was exactly the same feeling as in his memory. This woman fell asleep as soon as she came back. Yi Qianren didn't even have the time to open her mouth when she saw her fall onto her body. That movement didn't even pause for a moment. He even raised his hand to support her, but this woman didn't feel anything. Looking at the face of the young girl sleeping in front of her, Yi Qianmin didn't know why, but she felt her body heating up. He looked at the girl's sweet sleepy eyes. That pair of eyes that were always evil and crafty were now tightly shut. Her nose was small and delicate, and her cherry lips were slightly pursed. She looked indescribably obedient. A strand of hair hung down from her temples and landed on the girl's lips. Yi Qianxian's eyes lit up when he saw the bright red lips under her black hair. He suddenly remembered the soft touch he felt on his lips when he was beside Luo Qingtong. He couldn't help but lean down. Just as he was getting closer and closer to Luo Qingtong, getting closer and closer to the girl's pink petal-like lips, suddenly, shwa! A pink figure instantly sprang out from Luo Qingtong's sleeve. I didn't see anything. You didn't see anything. Go on. Little Pig covered his eyes with his two pig hooves and dashed away at lightning speed. Oh my God. This woman didn't check if there was someone beside her when she fell down. Seeing this man secretly kiss her, I wonder if I'll be made into a roasted suckling pig. Little Pig ran away with a swoosh and disappeared in the blink of an eye. That speed had broken through the limit. I'm afraid I'll be killed by Yi Qianxian if I'm not careful. That would be such an unjust death. Yi Qianxian's face turned ashen when he saw Little Pig's departing figure. Chapter 589. The two looked into each other's eyes. Yi Qianxian's body stiffened all of a sudden. His body was still bent over slightly and he was about to kiss her. His thin and sexy lips were only a few millimeters away from Luo Qingtong's pink lips. As long as Luo Qingtong or Yi Qianxian moved slightly, their lips would touch. Yi Qianxian's face was indescribably stiff when he was caught trying to steal a kiss. At this moment, Luo Qingtong opened her eyes and looked at him. She blinked her eyes and looked at him for a while. Then she raised her hand, hugged his neck and kissed him on the lips. Yi Qianxian? She looked at the man in front of her with misty eyes. Be good. I'm so sleepy. Don't mess around. Luo Qingtong was very sleepy at this moment. She was still half asleep. When Yi Qianxian faced Little Pig earlier, the cold aura around him triggered the alarm in her heart, and she was pulled out of her deep sleep. But after seeing Yi Qianxian's face, the alarm in her heart was lifted. During this period of time, Luo Qingtong had gotten used to sleeping with Yi Qianxian on the same bed as little Ming Zun. Now that she suddenly saw his face, Luo Qingtong, who had completely forgotten that Yi Qianxian was looking for her, subconsciously thought that Yi Qianxian was little Ming Zun. Although she was a little curious about how little Ming Zun recovered so quickly. Luo Qingtong was extremely sleepy, and her brain had stopped working. She didn't have the energy to think about this at all. She just hugged the man's neck, yawned and leaned into the man's arms. Go to sleep, she said, and habitually kissed Yi Qianxian again. Although it was weird for a man to change back to his normal size. However, Luo Qingtong hadn't woken up yet, so she didn't notice this problem. In an instant, Yi Qianxian's eyes turned dangerous. His gaze was deep as he looked at the half-asleep and half-awake young girl who was as delicate and enchanting as a cat. With a flip of his body, he pressed her under his body. Sleep? His voice was deep and hoarse. Luo Qi, are you trying to seduce me? This time Luo Qingtong sobered up. Oh my god. She glared at the man on top of her. Yi Qianxian's slender figure contained great strength. His muscles were warm and elastic. When they were pressed against her body, she felt a burning sensation. This time Luo Qingtong's eyes widened in an instant. Ha ha, my lord. Hello? Luo Qingtong was just about to say, what a coincidence, when she realized that this was a must-have line when she saw Yi Qianxian, but it didn't seem right to use it at this moment. Immediately she changed her line. Ah, what a surprise. She laughed dryly. Really? That's what I think too. Yi Qianren looked at her deeply. The light in her eyes was getting brighter and brighter. The two kisses just now were indeed very surprising. And they were very sweet. I'll grant your request. Oh my god. This was a complete misunderstanding. Luo Qingtong's lips twitched. She thought that Yi Qianxian's main body was little Ming Zun. Luo Qingtong could tease little Ming Zun as much as she wanted without any psychological burden. Little Ming Zun's power was restricted by her. However, it was different when facing Yi Qianxian's main body. Seeing the man's body pressing down on her and his eyes burning, Luo Qingtong was shocked and subconsciously wanted to step back. Chapter 590. Luo Qingtong raised her head. Before she could say wait, Yi Qianxian had already grabbed her shoulders and kissed her. The girl's lips were slightly parted when she opened her mouth, giving Yi Qianren the opportunity to enter. The man's lips and tongue flashed into her mouth, attacking her. Luo Qingtong's eyes widened slightly, and the 5 fingers that were grabbing onto Yi Qianxian's clothes suddenly tightened. In the next second she suddenly raised her leg and bumped into Yi Qianxian. The man was immersed in this kiss. Seeing this, he quickly raised his hand to block, and at the moment when the strength in his body was about to burst out. When he thought of the little woman in his arms, he instantly forcibly retracted that burst of power. This pause instantly gave Luo Qingtong the opportunity to break free. A bloody light flashed in her eyes, and her body twisted and turned like a snake, immediately breaking free from the man's embrace. Whoosh! Her figure quickly retreated, and in an instant she broke free from Yi Qianxian's embrace. Luo Qi. Seeing Luo Qingtong break free from his restraint, Yi Qianxian gritted his teeth. This woman, she's relying on the fact that I can't bear to hurt her. Otherwise, how could she have the chance to escape from my hands? Yi Qianxian felt a burst of depression in his heart. He sat up and stretched out his hand to Luo Qingtong. Come here. He narrowed his eyes slightly. This sovereign won't touch you today. This woman, if she hadn't provoked me, I wouldn't have lost control just now. Great, now she's running away after lighting a fire. I still have to worry that she'll run far away and I won't be able to find her. This woman, she's the only one who can make me suffer like this. Yi Qianxian, you like me? Luo Qingtong's eyes flashed slightly as she looked at him. Yi Qianxian didn't know why, but he suddenly felt that Luo Qingtong's gaze seemed to contain many things. It's you who likes me. He coldly snorted. At this moment, the aloof and ruthless man had an inexplicable sense of pride and arrogance. I'm just giving you a chance. What did he mean by he liked her? She was the one who liked him first, so he allowed her to be the exception. This woman was used to distorting the truth and even liked to say one thing and mean another. Luo Qingtong looked at his cold expression that was the same as little Ming Zun's arrogant expression, and the light in her eyes became brighter. Do you really like me? Do you know what will happen if I fall in love with you? The man she fell in love with would either love her or die. Luo Qingtong was not easily moved, but once she was moved, she would never allow betrayal. However, Yi Qianxian was a man whom she could neither control nor provoke. What would she do if he had a change of heart? Luo Qingtong did not dare to gamble. After so many years of being in the 24th century, she had only retreated in front of Yi Qianxian. If that was not the case, why would she avoid him again and again? Could she really not see that this man was lenient and protective of her? If she didn't have the same thoughts as him and this man wanted to catch her again and again, according to her temperament, she would have already taken the initiative and seized the opportunity to kill him. But she had never thought of it like this. I don't need to know. Yi Qianxian squinted at her and flicked his sleeves. I only need to know that I won't let that result happen. Come here. He reached out his hand to Luo Qingtong. Yi Qianxian, I gave you a chance. Luo Qingtong's eyes flashed with blood. Yi Qianxian didn't say anything and just reached out his hand to her. Chapter 591. Luo Qingtong jumped up and rushed to Yi Qianxian. She ignored the man's outstretched hand and looked at Yi Qianxian. She pushed him onto the bed and sat on top of him. Luo Qi. Looking at her actions, the veins on Yi Qianxian's forehead bulged. He was about to get up. Suddenly, Luo Qingtong bent down and pouted her lips. She whispered in his ear, "Don't move. I'm injured. It's not good if I get injured again." The moment her words came out, Yi Qianni's movements instantly froze. "You're injured?" He looked at the girl who was sitting on top of him. He didn't care about her rebellious behavior. He turned his palm and held her wrist. He transferred his qi into her. Luo Qingtong looked at his actions with a smile. Her lips curled up even more. "I'm fine. I just broke through too quickly and hurt my meridians. I'll be fine after a few days of rest." In the Kaiyuan Mystery Land, little Mingzun disappeared. Luo Qingtong couldn't control her anger and broke through to the Martial King realm. Although she had the Yang Soul Soul Stone and Yang Soul Royal Stone from the Yin Yang Soul Mountain to assist her, in the end she had been unable to hold back her anger. She had used the 1,000-year soul guiding wood to absorb and transform too much Yin soul energy, nearly causing her meridians to explode. She had severely injured the dead Soul King with one strike. That would leave a hidden danger in her meridians. When she came back, she didn't rest. After killing the martial Grand Emperor expert of the Tianyu royal family, Luo Qingtong felt that her meridians were torn apart. However, this level of injury wasn't difficult for Luo Qingtong to heal. She was just too tired. Otherwise, she would have healed her meridians when she came back. She would be fine if she didn't use her qi. Yi Qianxian probed her body with his qi. He found that she wasn't lying. His face turned cold. Who did it? When did this happen? Damn it, he should have followed her to the Tianyu Empire. He shouldn't have stayed in the Luo family just to argue with this woman. Otherwise, how could she be injured? Bei Qing and Feng Yu were too weak in protecting him. Bei Qing, Feng Yu, and the others would be crying if they knew that they had become the scapegoat for no reason at all. Your meridians were injured, yet you still dared to attack me. Yi Qianxian looked at Luo Qingtong coldly. Although he was being suppressed by her, he was very unhappy. However, considering this woman's temperament, he continued to let her press down on his body. This woman was really bold. If it wasn't for him retracting his hand quickly and restraining the power in his body so as not to hurt her, he was afraid that when she struggled out of his embrace, her injuries would have worsened. Why can't you behave yourself? Which woman was like her? Can't you just let me hug you? No. Luo Qingtong raised her eyebrows and looked at him innocently. I'm very obedient. Otherwise, how could she appear here? She would have run away. How could she let this man catch her? Yi Qianxian looked at her sitting on his body with a dark face. How could this be called obedient? Who on earth hurt you? He frowned and said, and get off me. No. Luo Qingtong looked at him. Suddenly she bent down and bit his lips. Psst. Chapter 592. In the dimly lit room, the curtains fluttered, and the bed was carved with flowers. The tall man was pressed down on the bed by the petite girl. Their surroundings were filled with an ambiguous atmosphere. Luo Qingtong's hair fell from the top of her head, covering the surrounding space with a swoosh. It blocked her movements of leaning over to kiss the man. In the floating fragrance, only their breaths were intertwined. Rising and falling, the floating colors glowed, and the dark colors gave off a fragrance. After the kiss, Luo Qingtong licked her lips and got up. Her clear eyes, which were misty with blood mist, had now turned blood red. It made her look like a demon that appeared in the dark night and specialized in sucking people's essence. She was beautiful and alluring, and her beauty could topple cities. Luo Qingtong's eyes were filled with the color of spring, and her cheeks were crimson. Her eyes sparkled as she stared at the man breathing heavily beneath her. She stuck out her tongue and licked her lips. The smile on her face was indescribably evil and wanton. Lord, the taste is not bad. Looking at her movements, Yi Qianxian's gaze was dangerous. Every inch of his gaze was filled with aggression. His entire body was burning hot, and his breathing was unbearably heavy. This woman, she was the one who seduced him. Then don't blame him for not being able to control himself. However, just as Yi Qianxian was about to move, Luo Qingtong's body softly fell onto him. The girl's breathing was steady and her face was sweet. She had actually fallen asleep on top of him. Luo Qingtong was really too tired. She was forcefully pulled out of her sleep by Yi Qianxian and had a round of confrontation with him. Now she was completely exhausted. Do whatever you want. She didn't believe that this man could do anything to her in this state. With this thought in mind, Luo Qingtong directly relaxed her mind and collapsed on Yi Qianxian's body. The man froze. This woman. She actually fell asleep just like that? After seducing him like this? Yi Qianxian's body was boiling with anger. The veins on his forehead were bursting. This woman was born to be his nemesis. Yi Qianren gritted his teeth as he thought. His face darkened as he looked at the sweet sleeping face of the young girl lying on top of him. In the end, he suppressed the boiling anger in his body. I'll let you off this time. Sooner or later, I'll make you pay me back with interest. As he said this, he carefully wrapped his arms around the girl's waist and adjusted his position so that she could sleep more comfortably in his arms. He even channeled his own aura into Luo Qingtong's body, nourishing and protecting her damaged meridians. This woman really doesn't know how to cherish herself. Yi Qianxian snorted coldly. Then he hugged the girl and fell asleep as well. When Luo Qingtong woke up, it was already early the next morning. Yi Qianxian was nowhere to be seen. She had no idea where he had gone. Luo Qingtong heaved a sigh of relief and then busied herself. After the imperial family of Tianyu was destroyed, there were still many things to deal with in the Luo family. Now that old Master Luo was missing, these things fell on Luo Qingtong's shoulders. At the thought of old Master Luo's disappearance, Luo Qingtong's eyes turned cold. Otherwise, she wouldn't have destroyed the imperial family of Tianyu so quickly. She had planned to wait until her meridians were in better condition before going. But in the end, she couldn't resist. But after checking her body, Luo Qingtong found that her meridians were much better. It seemed that someone had used his power to nourish her body. Was it Yi Qianxian? Thinking of the man who appeared in her room last night, Luo Qingtong's heart warmed slightly. At this moment, Yi Qianxian was on the Atlas flying boat, looking at the person in front of him coldly. Chapter 593. What's wrong? Can't I come? Elder Yu, who had rushed over from the main city of the Black region, stroked his beard and glared at him, his face covered in dust. You little Yi, the child is already 3 months old and you didn't even mention it. Quick, take me to see your precious little wife. While we're at it, let's go see that child. Yuelao rubbed his palms together. This was Ye's first child. He didn't know if the child had inherited his heaven-defying constitution. If he did, it would be another peerless genius. How could he miss it? Child? Yi Qianxian raised his eyebrows. What child? As soon as he said this, Bei Qing and Feng Yu, who were standing behind him, lowered their heads. It was all their fault. Previously, when he heard that the evil doctor was pregnant, he was so happy that he immediately sent the news back to the main city of the Black region and told Elder Yu that he wanted him to come over and see if there was anything wrong with the little master, who knew that this was a plot by the imperial family of Tianyu against the Luo family. When they found out the truth, their faces turned green. They wanted to send another message back to explain that it was a misunderstanding, but they were sent to protect the evil doctor and forgot about it. Only when they saw Yuelao, who had rushed over from the Black Field, did they realize that things had gone wrong. After clarifying that it was a misunderstanding between the two of them, and that there was no such child at all, the excitement on Elder Yu's face immediately disappeared. You two idiots! How could you make such a mistake? He stomped his feet on the Atlas flying boat. Seeing his actions, Yi Qianxian frowned. He looked at Yuelao and suddenly asked, Did you send the news back? As soon as he said this, Yuelao's stomping figure froze. Ha ha! Elder Yu laughed dryly as he looked at Yi Qianren. That actually, Yi, I get excited easily when I hear good news. When I get excited, it was easy to make mistakes. So, Yi Qianxian looked at him coldly. You did send the news back. Cough cough, actually I just told the Heavenly Empress. Yuelao looked at him guiltily. Of course it's very likely that other people also know. Heavens, how did he know that the news sent back by Bei Qing and Feng Yu was fake? These two little bastards had really screwed him over miserably. Yuelao tugged at his beard, frowning. He originally wanted to help Yi Qianxian show off and make the Heavenly Empress happy. Now that he made such a big mistake, the Heavenly Empress sighed. God knows he only did it out of kindness. Yi Qianren looked at him with a cold face. Then he flicked his sleeves and ordered coldly, Seal off all news here immediately. Also, send someone to keep a close watch on that side. If there are any unusual movements, inform me immediately. The Heavenly Empress, the Heavenly Empress. For so many years, Yi Qianren had never thought of fighting for those things. He didn't care about those things. But if those people touched Luo Qingtong because of this, the coldness in Yi Qianxian's eyes was so cold that it seemed to flow. That woman was now his one and only reverse scale that couldn't be touched. Chapter 594. It was the scene of Prince De's explosion. It was obvious that a phoenix tattoo appeared on Elder Luo's forehead as he faced the danger of self-detonation. The golden phoenix flew out of Old Man Luo's body and circled around him. In an instant, the latter's figure disappeared from the spot. Where did this flying phoenix come from? Luo Qingtong guessed that this phoenix must have something to do with Master Luo's disappearance. Its sudden appearance was not a coincidence. It was because old Master Luo was in danger that the flying phoenix suddenly appeared and took him away. But that phoenix was obviously not a contract beast. What was it? Luo Qingtong frowned as she looked at the portrait in her hand. She drew two of the same portrait and gave the other one to the people of the Black Field to investigate. Presumably there would be results soon. Luo Qingtong let out a long breath. Since the flying phoenix was here to save the old master, the place it was sending him to should be safe. However, Luo Qingtong could not be at ease until she found Master Luo's whereabouts. He was her first relative in this strange world. Master Luo's position in Luo Qingtong's heart was irreplaceable. Just like the old beggar who picked up Luo Qingtong in the 24th century and raised her. Luo Qingtong's feelings for Master Luo were very special. Seeing that she was willing to restrain the evil in her bones for Master Luo, she knew how important Master Luo was. Just as Luo Qingtong was about to put away the painting, a voice suddenly sounded. Isn't this the unique mark of the old woman of the Great Chu sacred dynasty? Little girl, why do you have it? Luo Qingtong turned her head and saw Elder Yu stroking his beard as he walked in from outside. Haha, little girl, don't be afraid. I'm from the Black Field and I'm Ye's personal alchemist. You know what's wrong with his body, right? I'm the one in charge of the treatment. Seeing Luo Qingtong's face full of vigilance, Yuelao coughed lightly and said with a chuckle. He had taken advantage of Yi Qianxian's absence to come over. The latter was busy dealing with the mess he had made. Elder Yu was also a little guilty, so he quietly came to see Luo Qingtong. Otherwise, if Yi Qianxian were to find out, he would definitely not allow him to come and watch. But she really wasn't pregnant. Yuelao looked at Luo Qingtong's belly with regret. Looking at her face, he knew that Luo Qingtong was still a virgin. Little brat Yi was really too useless. He had been chasing her for so long. This was the result. She had thought that he had eaten all of them, so he was in a hurry to find them. A dignified underworld venerable was so useless. Could he be blamed for passing on the wrong information? Elder Yu muttered in his heart. Luo Qingtong didn't know what he was thinking, but focused on what he had said before. You're from the Black Field? You know the origin of this flying phoenix mark. Chapter 595. The Royal Family of the Chu Sacred Dynasty? Luo Qingtong narrowed her eyes. She had encountered a lot of strange things in the past few days. First, there was Princess Feng Luan of the Great Yong Sacred Dynasty who came to find trouble with her. Now, there was someone from the royal family of the Chu Sacred Dynasty who took her grandfather away. How did these people of noble status come into contact with the Luo family one after another? Princess Feng Luan aside, after all, she was attracted by Yuanma. But what was going on with this person from the royal family of the Chu Sacred Dynasty? She had never heard grandfather Luo mention such a person. Luo Qingtong frowned. Who is that person? Please tell me. Luo Qingtong looked at Elder Yu. The latter smiled and rubbed his hands. He looked at Luo Qingtong and was about to speak. Behind him, a cold voice suddenly sounded. That is Empress Dowager Yan Shi of the Great Chu. As they spoke, Yi Qianxian came in with a cold face. Cough cough. Boy Yi, you're back so quickly. Elder Yu coughed and looked at the sky. The people of the Black Field behind Yi Qianxian all looked at him speechlessly. Why was the High Lord so busy? It was all this old man's fault. Why did he send the news back? He didn't know if they would send people over, and he didn't know what they would do. Master was so busy to protect the evil doctor. Elder Yu took the opportunity to secretly come to see the evil doctor. Master was busy halfway, but he rushed over when he heard the news. This old man was just adding to the chaos. I thought you knew? Yi Qianxian looked at him coldly with a warning. Don't say anything to this woman. He didn't want this woman to know about what happened over there. It would be too much of a burden for her. Yi Qianxian found Luo Qingtong. This woman ran like a rabbit, but when it came to love, she was like a snail. Yi Qianxian did not want her to shrink back into her shell again. Cough cough. Yi Qianxian's words choked Elder Yu quite a bit. Other than nodding his head, how could he dare to say anything else? Brat Yi was still in a fit of anger. What if he was sent back to the Medicine God Valley sect? Thinking of those people who were still persistently looking for him, Elder Yu instantly quivered and immediately pounded his head like garlic. Don't worry. He wouldn't say a single extra word about what happened over there. Seeing his actions, Yi Qianxian snorted coldly. Then he stared at Luo Qingtong. That flying phoenix mark is the unique mark of the Great Chu's Empress Dowager Yan Shi. Very few people outside know about this. This noble one used the information network of the 36 Dao palaces in the Black Field to investigate. That person might have some sort of relationship with your grandfather. 40 years ago, Empress Dowager Yanshi of Great Chu met with danger outside. She was saved by the sacred emperor of Great Chu and entered the palace. She was not a member of the sacred emperor of Great Chu. And that flying phoenix mark appeared on your grandfather's body. It means that they are connected in life and death. Their lives and souls are connected. Because of this, when Elder Luo was in danger, that flying phoenix quickly flew out and teleported him away. Yi Qianxian had felt the spatial fluctuations before and wanted to tell Luo Qingtong. But this woman left in a hurry and didn't have time to tell her. Chapter 596. Yes. Luo Qingtong nodded. Yi Qianxian also said so, then it was not wrong. But Empress Dowager Yanshi of Great Chu. His status was not just any ordinary noble. It was no wonder that the old man had such a strange expression on his face. However, this old man was not an ordinary person since he could recognize the unique mark of Empress Dowager Yanshi of Great Chu. Luo Qingtong thought that he was Yi Qianxian's exclusive alchemist and immediately raised her eyebrows. He was the one who treated Yi Qianxian's meridians these years? Then he must be very familiar with the condition of his meridians? Thinking of this, Luo Qingtong raised her eyebrows and looked at Elder Yu. This old man came from afar. Why don't you stay and have a cup of tea? I also have something to ask the old man. Okay. Haha, I also happen to have something to discuss with a little girl like you. Elder Yu chuckled. He was afraid that Yi Qianming would call him away. Now that this little girl asked him to stay, that brat would not say anything, right? Thinking of this, he glanced at Yi Qianming proudly. The latter was too lazy to pay attention to him. He still had to deal with the things over there as long as Elder Yu did not talk nonsense about it. As for why Luo Qingtong was looking for Elder Yu, Yi Qianming had already thought of it. This woman was looking for his injuries, right? Thinking that this woman was thinking about him, Yi Qianming's mood was indescribably good. His gaze towards Elder Yu softened a lot. Wait for me to come back and serve you in bed tonight. Looking at Luo Qingtong, Yi Qianming transmitted a message to her with a faint expression. Blah. Luo Qingtong turned around and was about to leave with Elder Yu. Hearing this, she slipped and almost fell to the ground. Serve him in bed. Why did this man suddenly say such a sentence? Luo Qingtong's lips twitched. She did not know why, but she suddenly had a very bad premonition. Serve him in bed. It seemed to be what she and little Ming Zun had said before. Could this man have little Nether Venerable's memories? Thinking of this, Luo Qingtong suddenly felt her face turn red. Oh my god. After all, she had done many things to little Nether Venerable. She must have made a lot of sauce for the little guy. So, even Yi Qianxian knew about it? Luo Qingtong's face turned green. Seeing the expression on her face, Yi Qianxian's lips curled into a smile. The face hidden under the dark golden mask was indescribably handsome. He chuckled and left. Before he left, he glanced at Luo Qingtong meaningfully. This morning, Yi Qianxian had already absorbed the wisp of soul flame in the 9 Nether Phoenix ring. Although he had lost a lot of power, that wisp of soul did not dissipate and did not damage his foundation. After that wisp of soul came back, he knew everything that Luo Qingtong had done to him. This woman had indeed coveted him for a long time. Otherwise, why would she be unable to control her feelings for that wisp of soul? Serve him in bed? He would naturally satisfy her request. Luo Qingtong's lips twitched as she watched Yi Qianxian leave. She only felt that her reputation was ruined. Everything was ruined. T. Who could tell her why Yi Qianxian also had the memories of the wisp of soul? When she imprisoned little Nether Venerable, didn't she cut off the connection between them? Oh my god. Luo Qingtong covered her face and only felt a burst of pain in her stomach and teeth. Chapter 597. At the same time in the Imperial Palace of Chu. In the magnificent palace, Elder Luo stood in the middle of the main hall with a nervous look on his face. He didn't know where he was. What was this place? Why was he in such a place when he woke up? Master Luo looked at the furnishings in the palace and felt that there was no place that wasn't luxurious and noble. The things in the hall were treasures that the Tianyu Empire had collected for thousands of years. After Luo Qingtong left, she ordered the people in the Evil Valley to protect the Luo family. She also told Master Luo about the treasures in the Evil Valley. She told him to equip the Luo family's disciples and the Luo family's iron army whenever he needed it. The Luo family was the most important. At that time Master Luo was shocked. He didn't know that the treasures of the Tianyu Imperial Palace were stolen by Luo Qingtong. At that time, the matter was so big that he didn't know it was his precious granddaughter who did it. But now, in this palace, even a tile inlaid on the ground was more precious than the treasures of the Tianyu Empire. Where was this? Master Luo was at a loss. He remembered that when he was in the Luo family, Prince De suddenly appeared with a ferocious face and attacked him crazily against the array formation in the Luo family. In the end, when he saw Luo Qingtong enter, he directly self-destructed. Master Luo didn't even have time to ask his precious granddaughter who the man who appeared in her room was. When he opened his eyes again, he was here. Is anyone here? He tried to ask, wanting to leave here. However, he had only taken a step forward when the curtains in front of him were suddenly pulled open, revealing a graceful figure. Grandpa Luo was stunned when he saw the figure appear. He looked at the graceful and luxurious figure in front of him. She wore a pure white mink fur cloak and a beautiful embroidered dress. The woman who appeared in front of him was gorgeous, graceful and noble, with a fierce and heroic aura around her. Her face was like a spring flower, and her beautiful eyes were slightly raised, looking at him coldly. Luotong, I didn't expect you to have aged to this extent after not seeing you for so many years. A slightly mocking voice sounded. The woman who was lazily leaning on the chaise lounge got up and looked at him. The light in her eyes was very complicated. The woman wore a phoenix ring on her finger. The phoenix pattern on the ring was exactly the same as the one Luo Qingtong saw on Luo Luo's forehead. Empress Dowager Yanxi of the Great Chu. If Luo Qingtong were here, she would definitely be very surprised. The old woman that elder you spoke of, Empress Dowager Yanxi of the Great Chu Sacred Dynasty, was actually such a young and beautiful woman. After advancing to the martial emperor realm, a martial artist's strength would enter the union of heaven and man stage and they would be able to retain their appearance at that time. In other words, one's appearance would be fixed at the age of one's breakthrough to martial emperor. The aura of this Empress Dowager Yanxi of the Great Chu dynasty was clearly not at the level of a martial emperor. In other words, her appearance had been fixed decades ago. She looked exactly the same as she did a few decades ago. Grandfather Luo was stunned. He didn't expect to meet the woman that he had been dreaming of for so many years here. The other party's appearance hadn't changed at all, making Grandfather Luo feel like he was in a trance. He was already dead and he was in the underworld so he could see such a scene. Chapter 598. Shi'er? Is it really you? Old Master Luo's voice trembled as he took a step forward. He wanted to touch the woman in front of him, but a figure suddenly appeared in front of him and blocked him. How dare you? How dare you be disrespectful to the Empress Dowager? The person blocking old Master Luo was naturally the personal servant of Empress Dowager Yanxi. Empress Dowager? Old Master Luo's expression was dazed. At this time he realized that in addition to Yanxi herself, there were several other servant girls guarding by the side. The auras of these people were surging and vast. When the aura around them was activated, it faintly caused the surrounding spiritual energy to fluctuate as well. Their cultivation was clearly above the martial emperor level. Empress Dowager? Old Master Luo's voice murmured. He looked at Empress Dowager Yanxi with a blank expression. You didn't die all these years? Yes. Looking at the expression on his face, the light in Yanxi's eyes became more complicated, then suddenly became cold. I didn't die. Luo Tong, thank you for fulfilling the misunderstanding back then. If not for this, how could I have today's fortune? I am now the Empress Dowager Yanxi of the Great Chu Sacred Dynasty. Pay attention to your identity, the name Shi'er is not something you can call. Listening to her merciless words, Grandfather Luo's face turned ghastly pale. He thought of what happened back then. He left home when he was young and went out to train. He met and fell in love with Yanxi, but then he was schemed against and was surrounded by a beast tied deep in the mountains. When he fought his way out of the encirclement covered in blood, he knew that something had happened to Yanxi. She was slandered for having an affair with someone else and was chased by his brothers for thousands of miles. Because he didn't appear from beginning to end, Yanxi thought that he believed the slander. After more than 10 days she took the child and jumped off the cliff. When old Master Luo rushed over, he saw the red horn disappear in front of him. He didn't even see her for the last time. He still remembered what Yanxi shouted to the heavens at that time, saying that she would never forgive him in this life. At that time he and Yanxi already had a child, Luo Qingtong's father, his legitimate son. But Yanxi was slandered for having an affair with someone else, and the child was also slandered as a bastard. In the process of being chased he was also slashed several times. Old Master Luo had desperately jumped down at that time, but he didn't find Yanxi, only the child hanging on a tree branch. The latter's aura of Luo Qingtong was weak, his face purple from the cold and the snow, and there were injuries on his body. If he didn't arrive in time he definitely wouldn't be saved. Elder Luo returned with a broken heart. After investigating everything, he found out that it was all part of his so-called brother's plan. Luo Qingtong Luo Tong o Qingtong because the of Luo liked, his of his Luo Luo Qingtong Luo of the Luo to kill. Of Luo. But even so his lover couldn't come back. Old Master Luo regretted it for the rest of his life. If it wasn't for his mistake and gullibility with Yanxi's strength, nothing would have happened. But his so-called brother stole his personal keepsake and threw it in front of Yanxi, saying that he had cut off all ties with her and would never see her and that bastard again. Chapter 599. Every time he thought of this, Master Luo's heart was filled with unspeakable pain and regret. After that, he brought the child back to the Luo family and never left Dongli again. He devoted himself to developing the Luo family. From the beginning to the end, he only had Luo Qingtong's father as his legitimate son. He never married again. Luo Lauer and the others were actually the orphans of the generals who died fighting for the Luo family. Old Master Luo brought these children back and passed them off as his own to stop the elders of the Luo family from asking him to marry and have children. Otherwise, why would there be so many concubines in the huge marquis residence but not even a shadow of a concubine? Everyone thought that it was because Master Luo did not want the concubines to affect the position of the eldest son of the Luo family, so he deliberately did not take in concubines and only had children outside. But they did not know that the truth was like this. That was why Master Luo was so angry when Luo Xining coveted the inheritance of the Luo family and assassinated Luo Qingtong. Other than the fact that Luo Xining had a shady background, it was also because Luo Qingtong was the only successor of the Luo family. Only she had the blood of the Luo family. I'm sorry? Master Luo's mouth was full of bitterness. He did not expect that Yanxi was not dead and had become the Empress Dowager of the Chu sacred dynasty. She must have hated him all these years, right? That was why she had never looked for him. After all, he did almost kill her and the child back then. Don't say sorry. I don't want to hear it. Luo Tong, do you think you can repay what you owe me with just an apology? Yanxi, who had been looking at him with an indifferent expression all this while, suddenly became emotional after hearing his apology. If this man had not refused to believe her, how could she have lost her child? Yanxi still remembered her despair back then. She was forced to the edge of the cliff and had been waiting for him to appear, waiting for him to give her a chance to explain. She did not betray him. But he did not appear from the beginning to the end. The funny thing was that she had not forgotten him until now, but he had already married and had children. The Luo family was prosperous and there were many legitimate sons and concubines. They had completely forgotten about her. Yanxi thought of everything she saw after she was rescued and found Dongli, love and hate intertwined in her heart. She swore that she would never see this man again, and she had done well all these years. But why did this man appear in front of her? Yanxi was agitated. She turned around and was about to leave. If she hadn't sensed the activation of the life and death interdependence curse and knew that his life was in danger, she wouldn't have appeared here. This man didn't believe her back then and allowed those people to slander her, but she still couldn't forget him. Yanxi hated herself for being like this. Looking at her back as she left, Elder Luo was also dispirited. Suddenly, he seemed to have thought of something and hurriedly cried out, You can do whatever you want to me, but can you help me send a message to the Luo family and tell them that I'm fine? Elder Luo didn't know how he ended up here. But presumably Luo Qingtong and the others didn't know about it. He didn't want Luo Qingtong to worry about him, and he didn't want Luo Qingtong and Yanxi to go against each other. He stayed here of his own accord. No matter what Yanxi did to him, he would not complain. Luo Tong, you have no room to bargain with me. It's enough that I saved your life. As for anything else, don't even think about it. Also, from tomorrow onwards, you will pretend to be a eunuch and follow me. Chapter 600. Yanxi said coldly and went straight out of the palace. No, Shita. Old Master Luo was anxious. During this period of time, he had already understood his precious granddaughter's ability very well. If the latter wanted to find him, she would definitely be able to. At that time, the two sides would inevitably meet. He didn't want anything to happen to the two of them, so he said that. He called out anxiously, but Yanxi had already left, leaving old Master Luo alone there to worry. Eastern border country Luo family. Luo Qingtong and Elder Yu were drinking tea while discussing Yi Qianxian's meridians. Luo Qingtong finally knew why the situation of Yi Qianxian's meridians was so strange. Heavenly meridian body? Yes. Elder Yu took a sip of tea, put down the teacup in his hand and nodded. Heavenly meridian body. Born with meridians connected and extraordinary strength. Every breath you take is the gathering of spiritual energy. Yi Brat was born with his own strength, directly at the realm of unity of heaven and man. After that, his strength soared and no one knows what level his strength has reached now. This brat was born to make people jealous. Using the word monster is not enough to describe his strength. Elder Yu sighed. You don't know how shocked I was when I first saw him. A child less than 10 years old, but his strength was already at the peak of the world and no one could compare. However, at this point he shook his head and said, being too outstanding will definitely cause the jealousy of the heavens. What's more, with his heavenly meridian body, there are no bottlenecks in cultivation. Such a heaven-defying body, I'm afraid even the heavens will fear it and it will not tolerate it. So, there's a problem with his meridians? Luo Qingtong said. Yes. Elder Yu nodded. A heavenly meridian body will definitely not live past 28 years old. He said in a low voice. This is recorded in the ancient records. It is said that such a physique is hard to come by in tens of thousands of years. Each one of them is amazing, enough to stand shoulder to shoulder with the heavens, but they all fell early. Yi Brat's meridians had a problem when he was 20 years old. The originally strong meridians began to become weak, thinner than paper. As his strength increases, his meridians will become weaker and weaker. Speaking up to here, Elder Yuan let out a long sigh and said, Don't look at how this brat Ye's strength seems to be very formidable right now. But in reality he's only unleashed less than 30% of his strength. The terror of the heavenly vein body is beyond the imagination of ordinary people. I can only tell you that when I saw him more than 10 years ago, he already had his current strength. As for the heavenly vein body, it's out of his control. By absorbing and gathering spiritual energy at every moment, his strength is increasing almost every moment. And with this growth, his meridians will be unable to bear the burden. The stronger he is, the harder it will be for his meridians to bear. So in these past years, that little night boy has rarely used his strength. He has even set the scope of his activities within the true Spill continent, and no longer. As Elder Yuelao spoke to here, he suddenly paused. That was close, that was close. He almost let it slip. Anyway, you don't know how famous he was in the past. This Blackfield's title of Underworld Venerable is actually somewhat insulting to him. Elder Yu curled his lips as he said this, then shook his head and sighed. What a pity. I've tried my best to find a way to cure the drawbacks of his heavenly vein body, but in these past few years the results have been minimal. It can't even compare to what you casually torment him. As he spoke to here, he suddenly asked Luo Qingtong with great interest, Girl, tell me, how did you treat him? His current meridians are a bit stronger than before. Chapter 601. This was also one of the reasons why Yuelao came to find Luo Qingtong so anxiously. Otherwise, even if he knew that Yi Qianxian had a child, he wouldn't be so travel-worn, rushing over almost the next day. It was because Luo Qingtong had been found. Yuelao had always been thinking about how she treated Yi Qianxian's meridians. That's how it was treated. Luo Qingtong blinked her eyes, then thought about it and revealed a little of her ability. I can feel where the problem is with the meridians in his body, and then I helped him connect them. However, Luo Qingtong still hid one thing, and that was, when her aura entered Yi Qianxian's body to help him repair his meridians, she could actually drive and absorb his strength. She didn't know if the improvement of Yi Qianxian's meridians had anything to do with this. Her aura was extremely beneficial to the repair of his meridians. It could improve the strength of his meridians, and his strength could be directly absorbed and borrowed by her. Luo Qingtong thought so, and suddenly felt that she should find time to confirm this with Yi Qianxian. If this was really the case, she was afraid that this body of hers was hiding other secrets. Hearing Luo Qingtong's words, Yuelao frowned. Being able to feel the meridians in other people's bodies? This was a relatively rare ability. However, Yuelao had come into contact with many alchemists, and there were many who had various abilities. Luo Qingtong's ability wasn't particularly unique. Could it be that he was just wrong? This girl was just doing it by accident? Thinking so, Yuelao shook his head and sighed. AI, this heavenly vein physique is really tormenting. If it really can't be cured, the Yi brat only has 3 years of life left. No wonder the people over there are so impatient. Just as he was about to say that, he suddenly covered his mouth. Oh my God. A slip of the tongue. A bloody light flashed in Luo Qingtong's eyes. Over there? Yi Qianxian had other identities besides the Black Fields Mingzun? Luo Qingtong's eyes drooped slightly, remembering this matter in her heart, but she didn't show it on her face. Seeing that she didn't seem to notice, Yuelao breathed a sigh of relief and hurriedly changed the topic. Luo Qingtong told him more about the heavenly vein body and the records of the heavenly vein body in the ancient records. Then she left thoughtfully. Until evening, Luo Qingtong was still thinking about Yi Qianxian's heavenly vein physique. This was the first time she heard of Yi Qianya's special situation. The heavenly vein physique was really the heavens. Even the heavens were jealous of Yi Qianren's unique advantages. This man was really a true God's favored son. Any peerless genius would be overshadowed by him. AI, the heavenly vein physique, no wonder I always felt that man was dangerous. So it was because of this. Unfortunately, he won't live past 28 years old, Little Pig said beside her. He won't die. Luo Qingtong narrowed her eyes. She wouldn't let that man die. Hey, you don't really think you can cure the hidden danger in his body, right? Little Pig looked at her with a speechless face. I usually only believe you. But this time it's really different. The heavenly vein physique is the heavens trying to kill him. Even gods and demons can't do anything about it. You still don't know what the heavens mean, but I can tell you that unless you have the power to split the heavens and earth and create all things, it's impossible to reverse his fate. Then I'll reverse it. The heavens. Luo Qingtong's eyes were cold. She never believed in fate. Chapter 602. Yi Qianxian stood outside the door and quietly listened to the conversation between Luo Qingtong and Little Pig. He arrived at the door when Little Pig spoke. When he heard Luo Qingtong's words, his breathing stopped for a moment. In the next second, his heart started to beat violently. Then I will defy the heavens. The young girl's voice was resolute and decisive. When it fell into his ears, it was like the most beautiful sound of nature in the world. Thump, thump, thump. Yi Qianxian pressed his chest. He could feel his heart beating so violently that it felt like it was going to jump out of his chest. His power could cover the sky and he could move unhindered in the world. No one had ever said such words to him like this woman. She was obviously overestimating herself, but she made him clamor and unable to control himself. This woman wants to protect me. She wants to protect me? Yi Qianxian looked at Luo Qingtong with a deep gaze. The intense light in his eyes seemed to penetrate deep into his soul. His gaze was fixed on Luo Qingtong's body. It was as if he wanted to carve her into his heart, eyes, and soul. Swish. His figure suddenly appeared in front of Luo Qingtong. The girl and pig who were chatting instantly jumped in fright. Oh my God. This man is here. When Luo Qingtong saw Yi Qianxian's figure appear, she immediately recalled what he said during the day about coming back to serve her in bed at night. Her scalp instantly went numb. At this moment, swish. Yi Qianxian suddenly flicked his sleeve. Little Pig was instantly slapped away. Ah! Bang! 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 All the doors and windows in the room were closed. Luo Qingtong stared blankly at this scene. It can't be, right? Is this man for real? Luo Qingtong subconsciously wanted to escape. However, Yi Qianxian was faster than her. Swish! Yi Qianxian waved his other sleeve, and in an instant, a burst of invisible energy wrapped around her body, dragging her into Yi Qianxian's embrace. Don't move. Yi Qianxian's voice was hoarse when he felt the girl struggling in his arms. Let me hug you. I won't touch you. As soon as he said this, Luo Qingtong fell silent. What's wrong with you? Luo Qingtong couldn't help but ask when she felt that his mood seemed to be fluctuating wildly. This man seemed to have never lost control like this before. Yi Qianxian did not say anything. He only tightened his arms around Luo Qingtong. Just when Luo Qingtong thought he wouldn't answer and was about to be her pillow, the man's voice suddenly sounded. Luo Qi. He called out to her, then paused for a moment before saying word by word, "This sovereign likes you." Luo Qingtong was a little stunned. Her cherry lips parted slightly as she stared blankly at the man in front of her. For a moment she couldn't come back to her senses. Is this man confessing to me? Before she could react, Yi Qianxian's voice continued to ring out. This sovereign allows you and me to share honor and glory and live and die together. From now on, anyone who insults you is insulting me. Anyone who hurts you is hurting me. This sovereign allows you to be spoiled, allow you to be bold, allow you to not put this sovereign in your eyes. Allow you to be unbridled and arrogant. As Yi Qianxian spoke, the light in his eyes was fixed on her as he said this word by word. Luo Qingtong, this sovereign allows you to control everything about me. This sovereign likes you. Luo Qingtong stared blankly at Yi Qianxian. The latter's gaze was so serious as if she was his whole world. Chapter 603. She pushed him away and ran away. That's right, she ran away. Swoosh swoosh swoosh. Her speed instantly became faster than a rabbit. She activated her eye technique to the extreme and ran out of the room in an instant. Bam bam bam. Luo Qingtong felt her heart pounding violently along the way. The man's words echoed clearly in her mind. Coupled with his incomparably serious expression, she was at a loss of what to do. This feeling was so strange. Luo Qingtong felt that she had lived for more than 20 years in her previous life and this life, but she had never felt so strange. Not only was her face burning, but she also felt like her soul was out of control. Luo Qingtong covered her face and ran out of the Luo residence. Little Pig was stunned when he saw her. Just as he was about to raise his little hoof to stop her, she rushed past him like a whirlwind. Little Pig was flustered by a gust of wind. What was this woman doing? Where did she go in such a hurry? Luo Qingtong buried her head and rushed out of the Luo residence. At this moment, a group of people came over and shouted happily when they saw her. Boss. It was Yuan Little Overlord and his group who had returned to Tianyu Imperial City. The Tianyu Imperial family was destroyed and the Tianyu Empire changed greatly. Except for Su Xiaoxiao who was a commoner, the rest of them, including Sima Ju, were all nobles. Now that the Tianyu Empire was in turmoil, they were naturally summoned back. Boss, we were just about to look for you. We didn't expect you to come out. The group was very excited when they saw Luo Qingtong. Little Overlord Yuan said in a loud voice, "Boss, did you get the news too? This year's end-of-year exam will be held in advance. We came to find you and go back together." End-of-year exam? Luo Qingtong was stunned. She had almost forgotten about it. There were too many things happening in the Luo family recently. Now that old Master Luo was in trouble, all the blame fell on her. She was so busy that she forgot about the Tianyu Branch Academy. She thought about how the light door was destroyed and how they were trapped in the Kaiyuan mystic realm. If she didn't know the inscription of space, she would have lost her life there. Even so, little Nether Venerable almost dissipated. Thinking of this, Luo Qingtong's eyes turned cold. Are Shi Qingqing and Zhan Haoping doing well? Her voice was cold. Now that they had gotten rid of her, the two of them would have a much more comfortable life. It's more than good. Little Tyrant Yuan said indignantly. I don't know what kind of luck they have, but they actually obtained quite a bit of luck in the Kaiyuan mystic realm. Both of them were taken in as the last disciples of the instructor from the Holy Academy of the Empire of Qin. It said that the two of them are going to fight for first place in the Tianyu branch. He had been in seclusion all this time. As for those who were on the genius rankings with them, they also benefited greatly. This time, I'm also eager to fight for the top 10. Little Tyrant Yuan felt depressed as he spoke. These bastards almost got them killed and now they got so many benefits. Especially Shi Qingqing and Zhan Haoping, they were even taken in as the last disciples of the instructor from the Holy Academy of the Empire of Qin. Once they got into the top 3 of the end-of-year exam, they would definitely become the Earth grade students of the Holy Academy of the Empire of Qin. F***ck, this world is not fair at all. People like Shi Qingqing and Zhan Haoping should have nothing. Little Tyrant Yuan was so angry. Sima Ju also had a cold face. His delicate face, which was like an elf's, was full of gloominess and coldness. Chapter 604. Top 10 at the end of the year? The girl's expression is indifferent. They have no chance. If Shi Qingqing's group has a chance to get into the top 10 at the end of the year, she will write her name upside down. The bloody light in Luo Qingtong's eyes flickered. Shi Qingqing's group tricked her in the secret realm of Kaiyuan, and they still want to compete for the top 10 at the end of the year? Luo Qingtong's eyes are cold. You guys come with me. With little tyrant Yuan and the others diverting her attention, Luo Qingtong's strange feeling from before disappears. She pats her chest, feeling that her heart is not beating so fast. She immediately turns her head and leads little tyrant Yuan and the others back to the Luo family. At the same time in Luo Qingtong's room, Yi Qianxian is still holding Luo Qingtong in his arms. Looking at his empty arms, the veins on his forehead are throbbing. This woman, he is confessing to her. Why did she run? Are his words so scary? What did he say wrong? Yi Qianxian takes a few deep breaths, unable to control his explosive mood. That woman. Just as he is about to choke with anger from Luo Qingtong's reaction, a figure suddenly flashes in from outside, kneels in front of him and reports, "Master, there's movement over there." Yi Qianxian's expression suddenly changes. When Elder Yu's words were passed back, he knew that there would be movement over there, but he didn't expect it to be so fast. The light in his eyes immediately turns cold. Go. Yi Qianxian coldly flicks his sleeve. Yes. Feng Yu, who is kneeling on the ground, gets up. At this moment Yi Qianxian, who has already rushed out, suddenly stops. He turns his head to look at Feng Yu and suddenly says coldly, "Didn't you say last time that the woman ran because she didn't know my feelings and I didn't confess?" Feng Yu is stunned by his question, then comes back to his senses and quickly nods. Yes. He was pleasantly surprised and quickly asked, "Master, did you confess? Did the evil doctor agree to become our mistress? Was her master finally willing to face her feelings?" He was overjoyed. If you like someone, you have to say it out loud. Master is always so stuffy in his heart. Even the evil doctor doesn't know. However, just as the joy on Feng Yu's face rose, Yi Qianxian flicked his sleeves and said coldly, "After you go back, stay in the spy shop for a full month. No one is allowed to plead for mercy." Agree? That woman heard his confession and ran away faster than a rabbit. It would have been better if he hadn't confessed. With that in mind, Yi Qianxian gritted his teeth and disappeared into thin air. Feng Yu was stunned. In the next second he wailed. "No. Master, could it be that you didn't make the right confession? It was impossible for it to be ineffective. Oh my God. A month in the spy shop." Feng Yu's face turned green when he thought about how he had to dress up as a woman and do all those flirtatious actions. "Master, please reduce my sentence. A month is too long. He can't bear it." He thought about how he had just mocked Bei Qing. Now the tables have turned and it's his turn so soon. But Feng Yu can't understand how the method he taught his master didn't work. It should have worked. He chased after Yi Qianxian's figure and left. At the same time, Luo Qingtong is bringing little tyrant Yuan and the others back to the Luo residence. Chapter 605. This venerable will be leaving for a while. Yi Qianxian pressed Luo Qingtong against a corner of the wall and narrowed his eyes. Cough. Is that so? Luo Qingtong coughed softly and said, "Have a safe journey? Did this man specially come to say goodbye to her?" Yi Qianxian's face turned cold. He looked at the girl in front of him with a dark expression and spoke in a low voice. "That's all you want to say to this venerable? This woman I'm going to leave. That's all she wants to say to me?" Ah. Luo Qingtong blinked her eyes and looked at Yi Qianxian. Looking at the expression on her face, Yi Qianren's expression instantly turned into one of rage. "Don't you have anything else to say to this venerable? Have a safe journey? Is she that impatient for me to leave?" Luo Qingtong looked at the dark expression on his face and couldn't think of what this man wanted her to say to him. If it's a confession, then forget it. Thinking of the words Yi Qianxian said to her before, Luo Qingtong felt her face turn hot. Then she thought for a bit and tried to say, "Come back early?" Hearing her words, Yi Qianren snorted coldly. However, the expression on his face softened slightly. "Come back early? Come back. In other words, she will wait for me and won't run away?" Yi Qianren was also worried that this woman would take advantage of his absence and run off to God knows where. Although he found the Luo family, this woman didn't want to see him. Could he use the Luo family to threaten her? If she was really disobedient, he couldn't do anything to her. Yi Qianren's eyes darkened slightly. Looking at the spiral of hair on Luo Qingtong's head, there was joy in his voice. Be obedient and wait for this venerable. As he said this, he suddenly felt that the 3 words obedient were too demanding for this woman and immediately changed his words. Just wait for this venerable to come back. As he spoke, he bent down and kissed the young girl's forehead, then said, Don't worry. When this venerable is not here, you are not allowed to provoke other men. In addition, with a flick of his sleeve, he dispersed the aura of the 9 netherworld phoenix ring on her left ring finger, revealing the clear 9-headed flying phoenix totem on it. The 9 flying phoenixes on top of it intertwined with each other and flew up in a spiral. It looked extremely luxurious and extraordinary. This ring can mobilize all the forces in the black field. If I'm not around and someone bullies you, use this ring. Yi Qianxian raised his hand and rubbed the 9 phoenix ring. On his left ring finger, there was a ring that was exactly the same as the one on Luo Qingtong's finger, except that it was a ring with 10 flying dragons on it. In all directions, in all 9 heavens and 10 earths, no one can humiliate you. If anyone dares to touch you, then don't worry about the consequences. This venerable will take care of everything for you. His woman was not to be bullied. He couldn't even bear to touch a single hair on this woman's head, so what right did other people have to teach her a lesson? The cold light in Yi Qianxian's eyes soared, but when he turned to Luo Qingtong, it softened a little. This venerable will not be gone for too long this time. As for the Luo family, this venerable will have the Black Fields people secretly watch over them. You can do whatever you want. When Yi Qianxian had just kidnapped Luo Qingtong, he also saw little tyrant Yuan and the others. Just thinking about it, he knew that Luo Qingtong was probably going to return to Tianyu Branch Academy. Thinking of the memory he obtained from that wisp of soul, that this woman was set up by someone and was almost left behind in the secret realm of Kaiyuan and died, Yi Qianxian's gaze instantly became dangerous. Chapter 606. Luo Qingtong didn't think that Yi Qianxian's departure was a big deal. Anyway, this man would come back. But now, after listening to Yi Qianxian's advice, she suddenly felt a little reluctant to let Yi Qianxian leave. Thinking that this man had been staying at the Luo family for the past few days, and that the Blackfield matter was also handled here, it probably wasn't because of that matter that made him leave. So, it was because of that matter? Luo Qingtong looked at Yi Qianxian and wanted to ask. But this man didn't seem to want her to know about that matter. Moreover, Yi Qianxian's hidden danger hadn't been resolved yet. It was most likely related to that matter. Luo Qingtong didn't want to poke Yi Qianxian's scars. He could only live for 3 years. Luo Qingtong didn't need to think to know how those people in the place where Yi Qianxian lived would think of him. They must think that he was going to die, right? That was why they were so unscrupulous. This man was so amazing and looked down on the world. How could he tolerate other people's contempt and arrogance towards him? Even if those people didn't dare to show it in front of him. But they must have secretly scolded him like that. Thinking of this, Luo Qingtong swallowed back the words that were about to come out of her mouth. At the same time, a surge of anger suddenly rose in her heart. Those people wanted Yi Qianxian to die so badly, but she was going to save him. She would never let this man die. Swoosh. Thinking that Yi Qianxian might want to go back to that side, Luo Qingtong raised her hand and grabbed his wrist. Don't move. She transferred the breath in her body into Yi Qianxian's body. At the same time, the bloody glow in her eyes intensified. She activated her ocular technique and saw the situation in Yi Qianxian's body clearly. The man's body was still the same. The other data were all heaven-defying numbers and a bunch of question marks. Luo Qingtong didn't know how strong he was. However, the number of meridians was pitifully low. Luo Qingtong couldn't help but sigh. The heavens really knew how to scheme against people. Yi Qianxian's heaven-defying physique was incomparably terrifying and almost impossible to deal with. It directly turned Yi Qianxian's meridians into his weakness. The stronger he became, the easier it was for him to die. It was like a huge wooden barrel that could hold an endless amount of water. However, one of the planks was extremely fragile. In that case, the more water there was in the barrel, the greater the pressure. Once it exceeded a certain threshold, the wooden plank would no longer be able to withstand it and would explode. Then, this wooden barrel that could hold the endless water would be completely destroyed. The heavenly Tao didn't even need to do anything extra. It could just watch as Yi Qianren, a person who was enough to threaten it, died silently. But at the same time, if Yi Qianxian could overcome this hurdle and cure the hidden dangers in his body, then he would be able to break free from the shackles of his fate and soar into the sky. Even the heavenly Tao would not be able to do anything to him. Even if it wanted to deal with him, it would have to do it with external forces. However, when that time came, Yi Qianxian might not necessarily be afraid of it. Luo Qingtong's eyes flashed as she thought about it. Swish, swish, swish. The breath in her body quickly swept into Yi Qianxian's body and rapidly circulated. Sensing what she wanted to do, Yi Qianxian's body shook slightly and shook Luo Qingtong's body away. Chapter 607. Yi Qianxian knew that Luo Qingtong wanted to help him heal the injuries of his meridians. After the previous 2 accidents, he already knew that Luo Qingtong's aura had an excellent effect on the recovery of the injuries of his meridians. When others treated him, they could at most heal his broken meridians. But Luo Qingtong was different. When her aura healed his meridians, it could also increase the strength of his meridians. If the strength of a person's meridians was rated at 100, then Yi Qianxian's meridians had already fallen to a pitiful number of 10. But now, under Luo Qingtong's previous treatments, Yi Qianxian's meridians had recovered to about 20. It was enough for him to use a lot of his strength. But this kind of treatment was not only beneficial to him, but also to Luo Qingtong. The power in his body could actually increase Luo Qingtong's strength and help her break through her current realm. This made Yi Qianxian very surprised. But it was also because of this that he couldn't let Luo Qingtong treat him at will. The strength in his body was too strong. A little bit of his power was enough to make Luo Qingtong's strength rise rapidly. But Luo Qingtong didn't have a constitution like his. If her strength rose too quickly without enough time to digest and consolidate it, it would have a great impact on her strength. It was like building a house. If the foundation and each floor of the house didn't use enough sand and soil, it would be too loose. When the tall building was built to a high level, it would easily collapse. Yi Qianxian naturally wouldn't let such a situation happen to Luo Qingtong. This woman would walk side by side with him in the future. How could he cause problems to her strength in the future because of his selfishness? Presumably, Luo Qingtong was also aware of the drawbacks of doing this. Otherwise, with the previous accidents, her strength would have broken through to the Martial King realm long ago. She wouldn't have waited until now to break through and accidentally hurt her meridians. Next time. Yi Qianxian looked at her and said, "I'm leaving." He looked at the empty space in the sky. There, the Atlas flying ship, Beiqing and the others were ready. Yi Qianxian turned around and was about to leave, but Luo Qingtong grabbed his sleeve. Yi Qianxian, Luo Qingtong made up her mind. She looked at the man and said each word clearly, "I won't let you die." Emichim. Yi Qianxian looked at her and nodded his head. "I believe in you. I believe in you." These 4 words were more important than Mount Tai. When she heard this, she felt as if she had been struck by lightning. The body's physique had the heavenly level physique. She was no more than 28 years old. Never break this curse two's curse. Little Pig even swore that it was impossible for him to do it. He knew so many things about her, but he still said that. However, Yi Qianxian believed in her without any hesitation. At this moment, Luo Qingtong's heart trembled violently. Swoosh. Yi Qianxian's figure disappeared from the spot. Looking at the man's disappearing figure, Luo Qingtong took a deep breath and vowed in her heart, "Yi Qianxian, I will definitely cure you." When she thought about how she had injected her aura into Yi Qianxian's meridians, although the man quickly stopped her, the value of his meridians still jumped slightly. A bloody light flashed in Luo Qingtong's eyes. She must improve her strength as soon as possible. Only then could she better cure the hidden damage in Yi Qianxian's meridians. Swoosh. Chapter 608. In the main hall of the Luo family, little Tyrant Yuan and the others were waiting. Halfway through their journey, Luo Qingtong was taken away by Yi Qianxian. Everyone was dumbfounded. Fortunately, everyone in the Luo family was already used to this. Seeing this, someone quickly led them to the main hall. Otherwise, who knew how long they would have to stay there foolishly? Boss. As the group was drinking tea, Luo Qingtong's figure walked in from outside. Little Tyrant Yuan immediately shouted, "Hee hee." He smiled and winked at Luo Qingtong. That was Blackfield's Mingzun, right? To be able to silently appear halfway and take away Luo Qingtong without the latter resisting, Little Tyrant Yuan and the others only had to think to know who it was. To be honest, before they returned to the Luo family with Luo Qingtong, they didn't dare to think that they would one day be able to see Blackfield's Mingzun. Not only that, but that Supreme Blackfield was actually their boss's lover. Oh my god. This world was just like a fantasy. Who would have thought? That supreme black field, a man that the four sacred dynasties couldn't do anything about, a man who could cover the sky with one hand in the true Spill continent, actually loved their boss so much. No wonder Blackfield had been frantically looking for traces of evil Dr. Ghost Eye. At that time, some people thought that the latter had offended Blackfield and the two sides had fallen out. The result was that Blackfield's actions of protecting evil Dr. Ghost Eye had slapped them in the face. Now it seemed that it was Ming Zun who was looking for their boss. But then again, their boss was really too good at hiding. Who would have thought that the young miss of a marquee mansion from a low-level country like Eastern Fence Nation would actually be evil Dr. Ghost Eye, the most popular figure in the entire Blackfield and True Spill continent? They couldn't have imagined it. Boss, you're really too amazing. Little Overlord Yuan gave Luo Qingtong a thumbs up with a rippling face. To be able to take down the Blackfield, Ming Zun, as expected of boss. Luo Qingtong looked at him speechlessly. She then realized that Sima Ju, Su Xiaoxiao, Ling Yu and Ling Tianhan all had the same expression on their faces. His lips twitched. Okay, let's get down to business. Luo Qingtong tapped on the table and looked at them. When will the year-end assessment be held? Next month, Little Tyrant Yuan responded quickly. Boss, with your strength, you'll definitely be able to get first place in the year-end assessment. When the time comes, you'll show the entire branch how powerful you are. There's also Shi Qingqing and Zhang Haoping, those two disgusting people. They still want to get first place in the year-end assessment. Impossible. Little Overlord Yuan curled his lips as he spoke. Now the entire academy was flattering Shi Qingqing and Zhang Haoping. Chapter 609. Slap their faces? Luo Qingtong's smile was cold. How could that be enough? She almost got herself killed. If she didn't have the eye technique and learned the inscription of space from Song Qing, she would have died in the mysterious realm of Kaiyuan. Even if that wasn't enough, Yi Qinren's wisp of soul had dissipated because of them, leaving only a little bit of soul fire. She would make sure Qingqing and the others pay one by one. From tomorrow onwards, you will follow me for special training. Call Chu Wenhao back from the Tianyu Branch Academy. Luo Qingtong's face was cold. 1 month, right? That was enough for her to train Little Tyrant Yuan and the others. By then she would lead them and let Shi Qingqing and the others know what despair was. Ling Tianhan, come with me. I will heal your right hand. Luo Qingtong narrowed her eyes and looked at Ling Tianhan. The latter was originally the pride of the Tianyu Branch Academy. If one of his hands wasn't crippled, he wouldn't have lost to Yu Wenma. If that wasn't the case, how could Shi Qingqing and Zhang Haoping have the chance to be so arrogant? Now that he had returned to the top 10 of the genius list with the sword in his left hand, although he was at the bottom, it showed how powerful Ling Tianhan's talent was. If his right hand was in good condition, he could definitely defeat all the students on the genius list. If Shi Qingqing and the others didn't get a powerful opportunity in the mysterious realm of Kaiyuan, they wouldn't be Ling Tianhan's opponent. Since Luo Qingtong wanted to beat Shi Qingqing and the others to the bottom, she wouldn't give them any chance to turn the tables. Top 10 of the year-end exam? Students of the Holy Court of the Empire of Qin? Shi Qingqing and the others wouldn't get any of them. Yes. Little Tyrant Yuan and the others were surprised. She didn't expect Luo Qingtong to be serious about what she said. She really wanted to lead them to the top 10 of the year-end exam. Oh my god. If word got out, people would think that they were crazy. Other than Ling Tianhan and Ling Yu, who were considered powerful in the eyes of others, he, Sima Ju, and Su Xiaoxiao were all looked down upon by others. Especially Su Xiaoxiao, who was also an alchemist. Not only that, they had only just entered the Tianyu Branch Academy. Now, Luo Qingtong said that she would lead them to fight for the top 10 in the year-end assessment. If these words were said by someone else, they would definitely think that the other party was crazy. But when it came to Luo Qingtong, they firmly believed it. Boss is mighty. Little Tyrant Yuan was so stimulated that he howled. Top 10 in the year-end assessment? If they really succeeded, who knew how many people's jaws would drop? Other than Ling Tianhan, who was considered a repeat student, the rest of them were all freshmen who had just entered the academy this year. If they were able to get into the top 10 of the year-end examination, not only the Tianyu Branch Academy, but the Empire of Qin Academy would be in an uproar. Yuan Little Overlord couldn't wait to see such a scene. Especially those academy instructors who looked down on others and the arrogant Shi Qingqing and the others. Just thinking about it made Little Tyrant Yuan and the others look forward to seeing how they would react. Ling Tianhan was also overjoyed. He had never thought that there would be a day when his crippled right hand could be cured. One had to know that the person who had secretly plotted against him wanted his right hand to be completely crippled. In this way the development of Duke Ling's mansion could be stopped. It wasn't that his hand couldn't be cured, but he couldn't afford to hire someone who could cure his hand. Chapter 610. Ling Tianhan looked deeply at the girl who had just stood up. In his heart, Luo Qingtong was like a savior. It was laughable that Yu Wenma had been so arrogant all these years. He thought that his talent was unparalleled, even when compared to the geniuses of the Empire of Qin and the Holy Dynasty. But in the end he was blind and lost his biggest and most precious treasure for no reason. If he knew about Luo Qingtong's ability and identity, what kind of expression would he have in the end? Would he be so regretful that he couldn't control himself? Unfortunately, no matter how regretful he was, he couldn't redeem himself. A peerless phoenix like Luo Qingtong was destined to soar to the sky. She wasn't someone ordinary could have. Yu Wenma once had a chance, but he didn't know how to grasp it. Even if he regretted it in the future, it would be too late. At the same time, in the seclusion room of Tianyu Branch. Rumble. Shi Qingqing sat in the stone room with her eyes closed. The aura around her seemed to be fluctuating. In the next second, there was a rumbling sound that sounded like a huge wave crashing against the ground. In an instant, the aura around her seemed to be pulled and suppressed by something and shattered with a bang. The aura of a martial lord disappeared and turned into the strength of a martial king. An aura that was even more powerful and terrifying than before began to spread out from her body. Haha. Shi Qingqing suddenly opened her eyes. Looking at the tyrannical aura that she had just broken through, Shi Qingqing's expression became abnormally joyful. She stroked the veil on her face. That graceful and elegant face of hers became unusually smug at this moment. Martial King Realm. I didn't expect the opportunity one got in the Kaiyuan Mystery Land to be so powerful. My strength directly broke through from the high-level Martial Lord Realm to the Martial King Realm. Shi Qingqing's smile was charming and proud. Then she suddenly gritted her teeth. Luo Qingtong, it's all thanks to you. If it wasn't for you, I wouldn't have had such an opportunity. Thinking of what happened in the Kaiyuan Mystery Land, Shi Qingqing gritted her teeth. At that time, Luo Qingtong had injured them with a single slash of her sword. Not long after, they were surrounded by the dead souls. It was also at that time that Shi Qingqing suddenly discovered that she could actually not be attacked by those dead souls, and could even control them, and even absorb their strength to improve herself. She carefully hid herself and pretended to be lucky with Zhang Haoping and the rest to escape the siege of the dead souls. If not for this, their group would have died under the siege of the dead souls at that time. Shi Qingqing's expression was ice cold. Unfortunately, Luo Qingtong, you died too early. If I knew that I would have such good fortune today, I wouldn't have listened to Zhang Haoping and destroyed the light door. I should have let you come back alive and enjoy my hospitality. At that time, Shi Qingqing was afraid of Luo Qingtong's strength. The latter could exterminate a large number of dead souls with a single strike, and could even injure them. She didn't want the other party to take revenge on her, so she agreed to destroy the light door with Zhang Haoping. How could she have known that the fortuitous encounter she had was so powerful? Shi Qingqing looked at the shabby black banner beside her. That black banner was engraved with countless ferocious evil spirits. 100 Ghost Banner. She didn't know what level this black banner was. It was because of it that Shi Qingqing could not be attacked by those dead souls, and could even control and absorb them to improve her strength. Chapter 611. The 100 Ghosts banner also gave her a special soul seal. Soul-devouring power. In other words, Shi Qingqing was now equivalent to a soul king. If I knew this black banner was so powerful, I wouldn't have killed Luo Qingtong so early. I should have let her live to be trampled on by me, and let the black banner refine her soul after she dies. By then, her strength would be my strength. Shi Qingqing felt depressed as she thought of this. If that was the case, not only would she be able to get rid of Luo Qingtong, she would also be able to enter the Holy Academy of the Empire of Qin. By then, the fifth prince would definitely notice her. And Luo Qingtong was only fit to be her stepping stone, the dust under her feet. It was a pity that she died too early. Otherwise, she would not have let her go so easily. Just as Shi Qingqing was gritting her teeth, Luo Qingtong had already healed Ling Tianhan's right hand. Swish! She raised her hand and summoned a long sword. This was a weapon that she had refined according to Ling Tianhan's condition. Mother-child twin swords. Ling Tianhan's condition was special. His right hand had been crippled, and he had to recultivate his left hand. Now that his right hand had recovered, his swordsmanship had returned. The swordsmanship of his left hand had not fallen behind either. Under such circumstances, if he only used one sword, he would not be able to increase his strength. Two-handed swords was the path he should take. The mother-child twin swords refined by Luo Qingtong, one on the left and one on the right, resonated with each other. Together with Ling Tianhan's condition, they could unleash his full strength. In order to increase Ling Tianhan's strength, Luo Qingtong even taught Ling Tianhan the left and right interfighting technique that she had recreated when she was bored in her previous life. With that combination, Ling Tianhan's two-handed swordsmanship had reached a terrifying level. More importantly, Luo Qingtong told him that if he was compatible with the sword, he could control it with his mind. Taking a person's head from a distance. Controlling the sword with one's mind. Ling Tianhan was stunned when he heard this. This was something that only a Saint Realm expert could do after reaching the level where they could control the surrounding spiritual energy with their mind. Luo Qingtong actually said that this sword could allow him to control it with his mind? Then what level was this sword at? But he clearly didn't feel any terrifying aura coming from the sword. Furthermore, a spiritual weapon of that level was not something that someone of his cultivation level could control. What Ling Tianhan didn't know was that Luo Qingtong had engraved inscriptions on the mother-child twin swords to achieve such an effect. Otherwise, it would be impossible for an ordinary spiritual weapon to be like this sword. After teaching Ling Tianhan the sword and the left and right intercombat technique, Luo Qingtong began to refine Yuan Little Tyrant's spiritual weapon. It couldn't be helped. After all, Little Tyrant Yuan burst into tears the moment he saw Ling Tianhan's mother-child twin swords. He said that he was the most pitiful out of all of them as he didn't get anything. He immediately hugged Luo Qingtong's thigh and insisted that she help him refine it first. "Boss, I'll definitely do my best for you, even to the point of death. You told me to hit Shi Qingqing's chest, but I definitely won't hit her thigh. Boss, refine a spiritual weapon for me too." Little Tyrant Yuan hugged her thigh and cried with snot and tears running down his face. Luo Qingtong looked at him speechlessly. A burly man hugging her thigh and crying so miserably. Chapter 612. Get out of my way. Luo Qingtong kicked Little Tyrant Yuan away speechlessly, and then refined a gravity ring for the latter. This was specially customized by Luo Qingtong according to Little Tyrant Yuan's situation. The latter's petrification soul seal and innate divine strength made him an excellent shield, and it also had the ability to reflect damage. Luo Qingtong naturally had to strengthen him in this aspect. After the gravity ring was activated, with Little Tyrant Yuan as the center, the surrounding area was all included in the gravity ring. At that time, those who attacked Little Tyrant Yuan would be caught off guard, and the power of their attacks would be reduced. The stronger the gravity, the weaker the opponent's strength would be. This was a perfect killing weapon for Little Tyrant Yuan. At the same time, Luo Qingtong also inscribed a human inscription on Little Tyrant Yuan, increasing his petrification soul seal ability to the point of Earth Soul Seal. This upgrade was completely an upgrade in essence. The petrification soul seal that was originally a trash soul seal, after Luo Qingtong's increase in strength, instantly reached the level of an ordinary soul seal. It greatly increased Little Tyrant Yuan's strength. As for Sima Ju, Su Xiaoxiao and Ling Yu, Luo Qingtong also refined their own spirit tools for them. Sima Ju obtained one that could increase the power of poison. Su Xiaoxiao obtained a brand new set of refining tools and a comprehensive collection of medicinal liquid synthesis that Luo Qingtong analyzed for her. What medicinal liquid could change, what kind of situation it could be used on, and what kind of person it could be used on, everything was available. Su Xiaoxiao looked, jumped up and gave Luo Qingtong a kiss of love, and then ran off to study it excitedly. Facts proved that even a shy little rabbit would be very bold when it came to what she liked to do. As for Ling Yu, she obtained a purple-colored silk from Luo Qingtong. Looking at the elegant and powerful purple sky silk in her hand, Ling Yu was so happy that she jumped up and down. "Ah, Qingtong, I really love you so much. How do you know that I love beauty the most? This purple sky silk can be used as both a shawl and a weapon." As Ling Yu spoke, she draped the heavenly purple silk over her body. She was simply too beautiful. Wearing it made one feel as if one was floating in the air. Who would have thought that such a beautiful shawl was actually a sharp weapon? Ling Yu simply loved this heavenly purple silk to death. Even Si Wenhao also received a weapon and cultivation method from Luo Qingtong, telling him to cultivate well. Everyone was immersed in their training. At the same time, through the Blackfield's intelligence system, Luo Qingtong confirmed that Grandfather Luo was in the Chu Imperial Palace and that everything was fine. Knowing that old Master Luo had become the personal eunuch of Empress Dowager Yanxi of Great Chu, Luo Qingtong raised her eyebrows and vaguely guessed something in her heart. Immediately, the corners of her lips curled up into a smile. Great Chu's Empress Dowager Yanxi, fierce and courageous, a woman of iron blood, ruling the world as a woman, controlling the Great Chu with one hand. She was not the kind of person who had bad taste. She would not casually dress up as a eunuch to humiliate others. It seemed that her relationship with her grandfather was not simple. Thinking of this, Luo Qingtong suddenly felt completely relieved. She asked the people of the Blackfield to pay attention to Grandfather Luo in secret and not let anything happen to him over there. Then she focused her attention on this side. After the year-end assessment, she would go to the Chu Sacred Dynasty and see what was going on with her grandfather. You're tuning in to the Dreamy Chapters YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.